The Reverend W.J. Salter, a member of the British Association for the Abolition of Vivisection. Mr. Salter is the minister of the Baptist Church. In fact, he has two churches, West Melbourne and North Carlton. His subject that vivisection should be abolished. Ladies and gentlemen, the Reverend Salter. Thank you, sir. Now, Mr. Salter, 3 minutes, as the other speakers have, and then it's question time. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, before I come to the subject in hand, I have the permission of the promoters of this fine session to say a word concerning it. I would like to express our sincere appreciation on behalf of the British Union for the Abolition of Vivisection and all the component bodies of the Combined Animal Welfare Organisation for the splendid opportunity of this night.
We thank you very much, Mr. Salter, for your kind words, but don't forget your 3 minutes, and I know you have a lot to tell us about vivisection.
Don't cut up Kurt.
I offered this word on the promise that it wouldn't be cut off my 3 minutes.
Well, I'm afraid
Let's start from now.
You've already taken 1 minute.
Yes, you're quite right. Let the speaker have a try. There's lots of noise coming from the coal pit at the back there, so quiet, if you will.
Well then, as I've got such short time before I'm thrown to the wolves, I'll go ahead.
What about questions now?
That vivisection be abolished. Vivisection is the practice of medical experiment on living animals, covering all forms of experiments, from the prick of the infecting needle to the gaseous forms of surgical mutilation. Vivisection is licensed cruelty, and no cruelty is useful. So vivisection should and must be abolished because it perverts and distorts the first purpose of medicine, to heal sickness and relieve pain. Vivisection creates disease and deliberately tortures. Experiment perverted. It is utterly immoral. By brute force, it victimizes the defenseless for selfish ends. Experiment without conscience. It is atrociously cruel, torturing sentient creatures with sickening barbarity. Experiment without mercy. It is incomparably senseless, repeating millions of experiments for results already known and useless. Experiment without reason. It has become a medical phobia grown out of hand. 300 million animals under experiment at the same time in the United States of America, and 3 to 4 million animals under experiment every year in Britain.
Mr. Gold, just one moment, this won't come off. Now, this is a very serious subject, and Mr. Salter is very serious about it. Please let him air his views, and we'll give you all a chance to see how funny you are and how smart you are, and to ask all your questions. We'll cut you up with a knife if you carry on like that. All right, Mr. Salter.
3 minutes from now.
It has become a medical phobia, grown out of hand. The 300 million under experiment at the same time in USA. It is dangerously, I wanted to go home. It is dangerously deceptive. Experiments tried on animals have no correspondence on humans because of physical differences. Experiment in delusion. It obviously retards medical progress, wasting time, money, and energy in laboratories that should go to clinical attention. Experiment misdirected. Its results supplied to human are calamitous, resulting, as with the drug thalidomide, in thousands of little human monstrosities. Experiment with tragedy. It is grossly material and mechanical, ignoring the first basis of physical and mental health, which is spiritual, ethical, moral, experiment defined creation.
The time is up. Thank you, Mr. Salter. That was pretty good in place of the opposition we had. I think that you might have a point regarding the needle, because evidently some of our audience have had a jab or two before they came along tonight. All right, question time, and the young men are interested in this. Thank you, sir.
You said that cruelty can bring no good. Well, your religious order, what about the death of Christ on the cross? That was cruelty, didn't that bring any good?
That was neither legal nor divine. It was the act of a mob.
There's still cruelty.
Cruelty, that is so.
I think his point was that good came from it.
Good came from it. Yes, but not out of the cruelty. Good came because of the big purpose behind it.
All right. Thank you. Right in the front row.
You said that physical differences between animals and humans, well, all living tissue is basically the same. Well, how do you propose to find out the effects of drugs and disease on living tissue unless you try it first on animals?
But they are so differently constituted that, as I said, it's calamitous to try the same things on humans that have been proved on animals. For instance, the drug that's thalidomide was tried out for years on animals and pronounced safe for humans in overdoses. And it has produced that crop of thousands of little human monstrosities without arms or legs.
I think the lady wants to argue this point a little further.
But how do you propose to find out the effects if you're not going to use animals? What are you going to use?
The proper study of man is man, and the proper treatment of man is on man.
The back? Yes, sir, right at the back.
You say this is senseless. You say it's senseless. Have you seen the agony people have suffered through polio? Yet through monkeys and the soft vaccination, a lot of this suffering has been eliminated.
Good point.
Two agonies don't make a right.
Two agonies?
There has never been a proof yet where these things have saved the agonies of humans.
They have.
There have been many proofs.
Polio in human beings.
There have been many proofs where they caused agonies, untold.
Now look, there's a fight going on between two of the audience at the back there. One question at a time. Now wait a minute, order now. Now we don't want any rudeness and we don't want any interruption. If you have a question, we'll give you the opportunity of asking the question. Now, is there any further trouble at the back there? Or which head is there? Right. Right at the back.
Would you breed humans for experimentation, or how else would you experiment and find out how illnesses affect humans?
You don't breed humans for experimentation, but you've got any amount of sick humans to experiment on.
Experimented on?
Well,
Yes?
will you answer this man?
Yes, answer this one.
I was in the laboratory and I spoke to the vivisector there, and I said to him, now, after you've tried out all these experiments on animals, you've still got to try the same experiments on humans. He said it's all experiments.
Right?
Sir, can you possibly maintain that medical science would have reached its present high standard if it hadn't been for vivisection used in the past?
I maintain it would have reached a much higher standard if they had practiced on humans instead of on animals. Misdirecting me.
The lady in the corner.
Salk vaccine.
Now, order, let us hear the question, please.
Salk vaccine injections have caused polio in many proved cases. Chloromycetin, innumerable other drugs with which I won't worry you, have caused even more dangers.
Good point.
In view of this, doesn't Mr. Salter agree that to attempt to cure humans by experiments on rodents, rabbits, rats, mice, cats, dogs, whose digestive processes are entirely different from humans?
Now, what is
the question is this, Mr. Kurtz. Isn't, in view of the failures of vivisection, isn't it the most stupid and wicked error in the whole range of human activity, and likely to cause as much human misery, as the atom bomb?
3 minutes.
Experiments tried out on animals and then applied to humans have caused no end of misery.
The lady?
As a minister of the church, how do your sick parishioners react to the idea of practicing on them?
I'm sorry, it wasn't heard by Mr. Salter.
As a minister of the church, how do your sick parishioners react to the idea of practicing on them instead of their cat or dog?
My sick parishioners know that there are far better means of healing than practicing on animals.
I'll take out the back.
And vivisection leaves out the vital factors in health. The spiritual and the
gentleman right next door.
Mr. Salter, there's been a public opinion that's been expressed through the dailies and papers that a lot of the drugs prescribed to cure one illness are quite often causing another one, sometimes even death. Where it can be proved in cases like this, what form of redress does the public have against the drug companies that prescribe or put out these drugs?
Get their money back.
Well, there was a case in America where a lady had a thalidomide infant without limbs. She sued the physicians and the drug firms and got the reward of $300,000 and scared the wits out of both the physicians and the firms.
That's the answer. The lady right at the rear of the hall.
Mr. Salter, has man the right to use experiments on those helpless creatures?
He certainly has not the right. He has not the ethical right. He is mentally superior to the animals, but he has no right to use his mental superiority in a cruel measure on them.
Now, question from what Mr. Veritas calls the coal mine. Would you stand, please?
Reverend Salter, with due respect to your cloth, it's a general belief in ministerial circles that animals have no soul. So therefore, it wouldn't be creating any injustice to help people who have souls and get rid of some of the vermin and whatnot we have around us.
This gentleman is presuming a great deal. I, for one, of the members of the cloth, do not for one moment say that the animals have not got souls. Some of them seem to me to have more souls than a great many humans.
A good fighter, Mr. Reverend W.J. Salter. I think he's done pretty well from a hostile audience. Difficult subject, Mr. Salter. Thank you very much.